Hello, Nick family. Welcome to my channel, Dope Soul Sports Talk. If you haven't already, please subscribe, hit that notification button so you'll be notified anytime I drop a video or go live. Today, I'm going to give you my take on the Knicks' loss to the Charlotte Hornets. Randle also addressed the reports or the unconfirmed reports that he asked out. We'll talk about that as well. The Knicks were also officially eliminated from the playoffs with Atlanta's win last night. I'll talk about that as well, but in a different video. So watch out for that. Let's get right into it. Fournier was supposed to be out for personal reasons, but he made the game. There were at least thoughts amongst the fans base that maybe the Knicks would sit Randle for the rest of the season if he indeed axed out. The Knicks front office did not address the rumors. I don't know if it was because they didn't want to give any credence to them, if it did happen, but they wanted to just keep it behind closed doors. I'm not sure, but Randle did play in this game. So let's talk about the game itself. RJ Barrett was in his bag in that first quarter. I think he had 10 points in the first quarter, 18 in the first half, 25 points for the game, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. What I like about RJ Barrett is his offensive awareness, right? If he has a smaller person on him or leaner person on him, he does tend to take him into the post and try to score that way. If he has a bigger person on him, someone that's less mobile than he is, he'll tend to take him downhill to the basket to try to score. I think the next evolution for his game is to go to the mid range more. But, kudos to him. I thought he played, a pretty good game offensively. Defensively, I thought that he had some defensive lapses, at least 3 of them down the stretch against Miles Bridges, just not having that defensive awareness of where he's at, you know. But his game was efficient. I thought he played, all right. The Knicks could not keep them out of the paint, and I get it. Charlotte is in the top 5, I believe, in points in the paint, and they did not disappoint tonight. I think they had 68 points in the paint to the Knicks 40. The Knicks defense just wasn't good for the entire night. The defensive rotations weren't there. They gave up 55 points and a half, 125 points for the game. Just not a good defensive game for them. Listen, Charlotte had a lot to play for. They came into this game in ninth place in the Eastern Conference, just a half game up on Atlanta, right? A win, and they solidify a playing spot for them. So they had something to play for. They came in motivated. Miles Bridges, who I thought was just okay for most of the game, just was just money down the stretch for them offensively and defensively. And we had no answer for him. PJ Washington played well for them. I'm not sure they were expecting that. 15 assists, I should say, for LaMelo Ball with 20 points, 5 rebounds. Oubre, 21 points in just, I believe, like 23 minutes or so. They hit all the big shots in the fourth quarter, and the Knicks didn't. Quickly with his and one was able to bring the Knicks within 3, a little under 6 minutes left. But again, if you're trying to cut into a lead, you need shots and stops, shots and stops. And the Knicks just weren't able to do that. And Charlotte was, and they were able to extend the lead again. Randle, 21 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. He wasn't very efficient from the field or the free throw line. But hey, that's what we get from him. Burks was okay as well. 12 points. He had 12 rebounds. I believe 11 of them were defensive. We out rebounded Charlotte, but by like 1, right? So every defensive rebound that Burks was able to get, we needed. Mitch, on the other hand, had 10 rebounds. 8 of them was offensive, 2 defensive. And let me just say this. Shout out to Andy, because we've talked about this. Andy believes that this is the strategy for the Knicks, or maybe the strategy for the Knicks, to have Mitch face guard, or just, focus on boxing out his guy so that RJ and Randle can get the rebound. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, because the difference between his offense and defensive rebounds of late has been large, in my opinion. So I watched this game. I don't see Mitch boxing out. I see PJ Washington, I see Plumlee grabbing rebounds over him, giving them second chance points now. They only got 8 offensive rebounds, right? But those were all some of them were rebounds that Mitch could have got, you know? So I'm not sure what's going on. I know Mitch understands that that's how he contributes offensively. We need those second chance points. So I don't have a problem with his offensive rebounding. I would just like more defensive rebounding. Let me know, down below if you think I'm making a really big deal about Mitch and his lack of defensive rebounds of late. Quickly with 16 points. He was very efficient from two. Sims only played 11 minutes. I like how he defends on the perimeter. I forgot who he was out on the perimeter against, but he played. He played it very well. I would just like when he gets an offensive rebound that he would turn and just look at the basket, right? Anyway, he played okay in his limited minutes. I think he had 11 or 12 minutes. The player spotlight goes to Fournier, 30 points, 4 rebounds, shot 62.5% from the field, hit 6 3-pointers, 75% from the three-point line, and 80% from the free throw line. One thing about Fournier, like him, don't like him. I know the fan base is pretty mixed on him. If he has a bad game, chances are he comes back the next game really focused and locked in. And that's what I thought he was, at least offensively. He has some defensive lapses, but the entire team um, did as well. I'm not sure what's going to happen in the offseason. Like I said, the Knicks were eliminated from the playoffs, play in. They're going to make, or at least look to make some changes this offseason. Fournier may or may not be back. I'm okay with him coming back. I know people complain about his defense, but you can hide one defensive player, right? If your other 4 players are really good defensively, if the player that's supposedly a weak defender is at least hitting his spots on the rotations, on the defensive rotations, you could still be a very good defensive team. I always point to Miami, who I believe is in the top 5, definitely the top 10 with Duncan Robinson in their starting lineup. Listen, Fournier did for us this season what we asked him to do. The Knicks needed more offense. They needed more scoring. That was one of the reasons they brought in Fournier, and he delivered. I mean, this is a guy, like I said before, he can score on all 3 levels. He was the number 1, number 2 option in Orlando. Obviously, the number 3 or 4 for the little bit of time he was in Boston, and he proved to be number 3 for us. But he had to find his spot, and he did. He's putting up like 7, 8 3-pointers a game. That's not really his game, but he found this niche and he did well at it. He broke the single season 3-point made record for the Knicks. So again, kudos to him, and we'll see what happens in the offseason. The only thing I want to point out here is what I talked about already, was just points in the paint. Charlotte had 68, the Knicks had 40. Now, I don't know if that's because the Knicks got into the paint and was just missing layups, or they didn't even try to go in. I'm not sure what it was about. I'll have to look at the game again to figure it out. But 40 points in the paint to 68, even though we know they're a very good team in the paint, still, I think you have to be better. The Knicks play Cleveland Saturday. Cleveland is 42-35, 7th in the Eastern Conference. They've lost 2 and only 4 of 6 in their last 10. So they're going to be hungry. I'm not sure if Jarrett Allen is going to play in that game. We've played them twice already and lost both games. They're a really good team. They're 20th in offensive rating, 5th in defensive rating. The Knicks are 24th in offensive rating and 14th in defensive rating. Before I get out of here, I just want to talk a little bit about Randle, who did address the unconfirmed reports that he asked out. Yes, he actually made it to the presser, and they asked him, about the reports, and he said, quote unquote, "It's not true, bro." That's what he said. They also asked him, about his commitment to winning in New York, something he talked about earlier in the season. He reconfirmed that he wants to be in New York. He wants to help the team win. They asked him about the fans getting on him. He said, "I'm built for it." You couldn't tell. But that's what he said. He said that he was built for New York. Let's see. Let's see what happens. I'm interested, in the fan base. Do they feel any different about wanting him here or not? Um, him having denied the rumors and also doubling down that he's committed to help the Knicks win. Does that change the mind of the fan base? Does that change the mind, or the direction of the front office? I'm not sure. It remains to be seen. I know for me, it doesn't. I don't have a problem with Randle's game. I think even though it's inefficient, I think we can work with that. But I have a problem with his mentality. You know, you want to help the Knicks win. You committed to helping the Knicks bring a championship here. Your emotionality, your ability to hone your emotions when things get tough, that's a big part of helping us win. If we can't count on you, we can only count on you when things are going well. We can't count on you, because you're upset over a call that happened 2 or 3 plays ago. And so now you're upset with the officials, and we're in the moment, trying to win a game, and you're still focused on 2 and 3 plays ago. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to work for us in terms of helping us win. So if he can't address that, then I think he's probably better off somewhere else, But we'll see what the front office does. Like I said, the Knicks were eliminated from the playoffs. I talk about that. I talk about the front office. I talk about at least my hopes for them coming into the season in a separate video. So be sure um, to watch out for that. And this is where you can find me. This is where I am on Twitter. This is my email address. Queens Court Monday, crossover with my co-host Tony Kroll on the Nothing But Knicks channel. Also Saturday, Simeon Russell, MBK crew will be doing the pregame on Cleveland. So we'll get into keys to the game. We'll get into key matchups. So if you're really interested in going in depth on that Cleveland game, check us out there. And again, if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel, Dope Soul Sports Talk. Hit that notification button so you'll be notified anytime I go live or drop a video. Peace, fam.